Welcome to Healthy Minds Talk, a podcast created to help you grow, bring awareness to mental health, and also remind you that it's not all in your head. There's hope, even when your brain tells you there isn't. I'm Praise Victor, and I remain your host on this show. So last week, I was having an emotional mental breakdown. I don't know what to describe it as, but it was a tough time for me because I decided that I was going to check my podcast analytics, like to just see and reflect back on how well the podcast has been doing, the episodes that have been having much listens and all of that. And then when I checked the podcast analytics, I realized that the number of listeners I saw was not the number of listeners I had in mind, and this just made me to start questioning everything. I started questioning whether I should, continue, if it was worth it, because I put a lot of work and energy into coming up with episodes and also creating and preparing. And so I was just questioning everything, and I was like, should I just give up? Should I just what's the chance that if I continue recording podcast episodes and publishing them and marketing the episodes, what's the assurance that I'm going to get a large number of listeners, rather, what's that assurance that it's going to grow? Because I don't know, it just so happened that I went on the podcasting platform I used to listen to other people's podcasts, and that's Spotify. I went on Spotify and I listened to one of my favorite podcasters. I wanted to listen to him. He's Jay Shetty. He's the host of the On Purpose podcast. And so basically I wanted to listen to one of his podcast episodes, and then I saw the number of plays that were there. I saw 1 million plays, and I was like, oh my god. And I don't even have up to 1,000 plays. And then I started comparing myself, and it was just really terrible for my mental health. I did not see a way forward. I just felt like everything I've ever done for the podcast up to the present moment was pointless, and I was just like, let me just give up and find something else to do with my life that will actually give me quick results and all of that. So that was basically what it was like for me last week. And then I just had to talk to my best friend about it. And he was like, I should not give up yet. I'm just in my number, I think this is the 17th episode or so. And Jay Shetty has 600 episodes. So I don't know, after a while, I started rethinking that, okay, I am just starting, and it's not exactly when you plant seeds that you see it grow into a real plant or a tree. So I have to keep watering it and just taking my time and tending my garden, cutting out weeds, just watering it, giving it the right nutrients and all of that. So I decided that I was going to put that same energy into the podcast, and I was going to keep podcasting. And so basically that's why we're still here today. If not, I know that I always talk about not to give up. I don't know if I've ever talked about that before on this podcast, but I'm always like, you can do this and be strong and all of that, and amplifying people's strengths instead of their weaknesses. But I couldn't do that for myself last week, and I was just like, oh my god, I've reached the end of the road. This is it for me. Basically, that was how it felt like for me last week. But here we are again today, pushing it through. And actually today I'm going to be talking about, if you haven't figured it out from the title of today's episode yet, I'm going to be talking about how to not give up when you feel like giving up, when you feel like I can't do this anymore. When you were in the same shoes I was last week, what should you do? Exactly. That's why I came up with today's episode, because even while I was preparing for today's episode of the podcast, I also saw, hints and all these things that can actually also help me. And it's been really great, and I cannot wait to share with you what I've actually learned this past week. So just before I go right into what you should actually do when you feel like giving up, I just want to give you 6 solid reasons why you should not give up yet. And the first one is you are stronger than what you're currently dealing with. You are way more like more stronger, because there have been times where you felt like you were just gonna give up, but then you kept going, and look at you now. There is like, you can do this. Okay, so do not talk down on yourself. Do not look down on yourself. Do not focus more on the situation, but focus more on your abilities and what you have on the inside of you. Now, the second thing I want you to know is that it's better to try and fail than to give up without trying. So for me, in my situation, I'd say that it's better for me to keep recording episodes and keep marketing them than for me to just stop and not give myself the chance to, go to where I want to be, like not give myself that chance to fulfill my target. Now, the third reason why you need to keep going is because what you're currently facing, is not the end of your story. There is so much more to it. You don't know the whole story. This is just like a chapter. It might be a paragraph, but a very long one that's not really pleasant. But trust me, this is not the end of your story. The fourth reason why you should not give up is because you never know how close you actually are to your success. If you feel like giving up right now, just know that, what if the next little step that you take is what's going to actually get you to where you want to go to? What if that decision you make is all you need to just, land whatever it is that you have on your mind? So you never know how close you are to your success. All you need to do is to keep showing up, keep being consistent. Just don't give up yet, okay? Now, the fifth reason why you should not actually give up is because the reward is going to be great, okay? Yes, I know that this might be so much for you to handle. The pain, the struggle, everything, it's all a lot for only you. It feels like you're carrying the burden of like so many people, but then it's just you. I get that, but trust me when I tell you that the reward is going to be greater than the pain. And the last one, why you should not give up, is because you are actually a source of encouragement to others. You never know how many people look up to you, and you never know how many people that you actually inspire. But guess what? If you give up now, they might actually rethink what they're doing or what they want to do, because they look up to you and they're like, if this person gives up, then what chance do I have? What hope do I have? So please, I am begging you not to give up today. Now, what should you do when you feel like giving up? First thing I want you to actually understand that is that this phase, this season that you're going through is actually normal and it's needed, because you can never like get to the real part, the pleasure without the pain. Is like, there's no pleasure without pain, because you can't just start one day and expect everything to just go according to how you planned. Of course there are going to be obstacles, of course there are going to be distractions, of course so many things are going to be on the way. There are going to be puddles, obstacles, and all of that. What you need to understand is that this phase is actually necessary, because if you don't go through this phase, you won't have that determination. You wouldn't have, because this phase, I feel like this phase actually builds up a lot of characteristics and really nice traits, like patience, like discipline, like consistency. There's a whole lot you can learn from this phase. So instead of you to like instead of you to continue focusing on what is going wrong, try to focus on what it's actually teaching you to do, because in every situation, in every season, there is always a lesson. So just try to focus on the lesson instead of focusing on the problem. Now, the second thing I want you to do is to go back to your why. Why did you start what you started in the first place? For me, it would be, why did I start my podcast? And I started this podcast because I wanted to share my opinion on mental health and personal development and all of that, and also because I like talking actually. And apart from that, I also wanted to build a community of people where they feel safe and they feel loved, and they also feel like someone out there understands what they're feeling. So basically, that was why I created this podcast. And so next time, if there's ever a time again when I feel like giving up, I would go back to the reason why I started the podcast in the first place, because I didn't start the podcast to be in a competition with other amazing podcasters out there. They're in their own niche. They're doing what they know how to do best, to the best of their ability. And so I should just focus on my own stuff, and I should focus on my why, because it helps to serve as a reminder whenever I'm at my lowest and whenever I just feel like giving up. I should go back to why I started a podcast in the first place. Now, the third thing I need you to do is to find a different how. Now, when I mean finding a different how, it's like re-strategizing. Yes, Jesus Christ, English is so hard, guys. It's like re-strategizing. It's like, okay, so you've done this thing this particular way, and you've seen how it works and how it's not working. So you should definitely try out another method or strategy that's going to like push you to that place that you want to go to, whether that's your dream, your target, the number of sales, number of listens, whatever it is that you have in mind, that's your target. You have to just like not give up, but find a different method of achieving that. Now, the next thing you can do to help yourself when you feel like giving up is to look up to inspiring people. Now, I started following, although she's not exactly a podcaster, she's actually an entrepreneur. She's a content creator, and I follow her on Instagram. And honestly, her stories have been really helpful. She's Vanessa Lau. You can go and follow her. Our newsletters, our Instagram stories, our Instagram posts, even on Twitter, it's like really encouraging, because recently last week it was like she knew what I was going through deep down, because all our content last week was just focusing on why you should not give up yet. And she posted this video because she's also a YouTuber. I actually found her on YouTube, and I traced that to Instagram because I'm a stalker. But she actually shared this video on our Instagram reel, and she was like, if she had given up in the first year of her doing YouTube videos, then she would not have almost 1 million subscribers right now, because she's been a YouTuber for 3 years and she has almost 1 million subscribers. But in the first year, there was like less than 1,000 subscribers. And honestly, I'd be honest, if it were me, I'd have probably given up, because a whole year, that's 12 months. That's how many videos you prepare for. And then you're not seeing your expected results. But that doesn't mean that you should give up so soon, because you never know. Like I said before, you never know how close you are to your success. So when you feel like you should just give up, try and search for the people that have also been where you are, that have also gone through what you're currently going through, and learn from them. Read their stories, follow them on social media, see how they cope with everything. It really helps, trust me. Now, the next thing you can do to help yourself when you feel like giving up is to talk to someone about it, because it's difficult to actually carry all that burden on your own. I was like crying my eyes out last week. Like, it was terrible. I'm saying it in a like cute way now because it's sounding cute. I'm definitely sure it does sound cute right now, but it was not cute last week because I was crying my eyes out and I was just having lots of negative thoughts, and I don't know, I felt like I was ready to sabotage myself and my success. But guess what? We're still here, and I talked to someone about it. I talked to my best friend, and I'm just grateful for the gift of him because he's so supportive. And so just talk to someone that you know is going to support you, is going to encourage you, that's been there for you since like day one. Just talk to them. It really helps to take the burden off. Now, the next thing, and I feel like this is actually like one of the most important things you can do when you feel like giving up, is to take a break. Now, we live in a society where like everybody is hustling, everybody wants to make money, everybody has their goals, their targets, and all of that. And they are like amplifying the hustle culture. But I am telling you that if you keep on hustling and hustling and hustling and just being productive 24/7, and you don't give yourself a break, you are going to burn out. There's going to be a day where you just do not have the energy to keep going, and it's not because you want to give up, but it's because you've used up all your energy that you're supposed to. It's nice for you to work for like a scheduled amount of time and then you take a break. Breaks are so important. So work for like a scheduled amount of time, then take a break, relax your brain. You're not a machine, you're not a robot, okay? You're human and you need to rest. The body needs rest. Even if you feel like you don't, you're strong, you're a superhero, a superwoman, a superman, I don't know what you call yourself. But the point is, your body needs rest, because if it does not rest, it's going to shut down. And when it shuts down, you wouldn't be able to get to that target that you want to go to. Not like Target shop, like you wouldn't be able to achieve your goal. That's what I meant. Now, the last thing I want you to do when you feel like giving up. Now, I'm starting to feel weird because I put it as the last thing, but it really should have been the first thing. What you're supposed to do when you feel like giving up is just to pray, okay? I also did this after I finished crying my eyes out, of course. I prayed. I actually felt a lot more better. There was just this peace on the inside of me, that because I know that I'm not doing it by my own strength. So what you need to do is just pray, talk about it. It doesn't have to be like a particular pattern of prayer. I don't know how you pray, but simply just let your heart out to God and just pray and talk about it with your maker. Trust me, he totally understands what you're going through. He's there with you. He sees you. He's with you through all of it. So all you need to do is pray, take that step, and just talk to God and be like, God, I am messed up. You can start your prayer with that and just be like, God, I am messed up and I am going through all of this right now and I just need strength, because what I prayed for last week was strength. And yes, I got the strength to keep going to this present moment. So yeah, you can pray for whatever you need. It might not be strength you need. It might be clarity you need. It might be, I don't know what you need. Just pray and talk to God for what you need. And that's it for today's episode, guys, because those are the tips that have helped me when I felt like giving up last week. So I feel like they should help you too. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the podcast. If you really enjoyed this episode, please share it to anyone you think that would also need this episode. And you can listen to it like multiple times. I do not mind, trust me. And also, before you go, please head out to my Instagram page where I post daily tips to help you be the best version of yourself, basically, and also build healthy relationship with yourself and also with others. And you can also follow me on Twitter. I post similar things like this on my account. The link is in the description, so I will see you guys next Monday.